They don't hate you because you're weak. They hate you because they can't control you. Because you see through them. Because you don't flinch when they try to manipulate you. See, most people mistake evil for rage, violence, chaos, but real evil, it's calm, calculated, patient. It plays the long game. It hides behind a smile, behind charm, behind empty compliments. It watches you, learns you, mimics your warmth, then moves in silence. And by the time you feel the chill, it's already too late. This isn't paranoia, it's power. The kind Machiavelli respected. The kind that survives. Because in a world ruled by masks, the one who sees through the performance becomes untouchable. That's what we do here at Psygrythm. We weaponize awareness. So before you trust the hand next to you, learn the 6 red flags that reveal when that hand is connected to something cold and dangerous. Comment this right now if you're ready to see reality for what it is. I see through deception. I move with precision. Red flag number 1, charm without core. They'll flatter you like poetry, smooth words, magnetic presence, a hypnotic smile that feels too perfect. But listen closely. There's no weight behind it, no depth, no authenticity. They're not being real, they're being strategic. Because charm is a tool, and in the wrong hands, it's a weapon. These people don't connect, they calculate. They figure out what you want to hear, who you want them to be, and then wear that skin like a mask, but scratch the surface, and there's nothing underneath. No principles, no emotional spine, just an echo chamber of whatever gets them closer to what they want. This is how they slip past your defenses. They flood your nervous system with validation. They mimic connection. But real connection is rooted in truth, and truth doesn't shift depending on who's in the room. These people do. Remember, when someone is liked by everyone, it often means they belong to no one, not even themselves. Comment this below if you're building armor against manipulation. Flattery doesn't move me, truth does. Red flag number 2, empathy that feels scripted. They pretend to feel everything, but they feel nothing. That's red flag number 2, scripted empathy. These people don't empathize, they perform. Their concern feels rehearsed, like they're playing a role they've watched others play better. When you speak about pain, they respond with the right words, the correct face, but there's a hollowness behind the eyes. Why? Because they're not emotionally with you, they're observing you, measuring your wounds, calculating how deep they go, and how to use them later. Real empathy has weight. It's not always perfect. It stumbles, pauses, feels raw, but fake empathy, it's polished, timed. It shows up only when others are watching, when it serves a purpose. That's the test. See how they respond when no one else is around. See if their comfort disappears when the spotlight fades. Do they lean in, or do they switch off? Machiavelli warned, it is necessary to be a fox to recognize traps. And this is one of the most deceptive traps. Because fake empathy disarms you. It makes you believe you're safe, that someone understands you. But in truth, you're being profiled, emotionally mapped. And once they've downloaded your psychology, they'll use it to manipulate, to guilt, to extract. If their words feel memorized, they probably are. And if their compassion feels too perfect, it's not real. Remember, the coldest people are often the best at pretending to care. Comment this if your instincts are getting sharper. I don't trust the performance, I trust the pattern. Red flag 3. Their peace feels too controlled. You ever meet someone whose calm feels unnatural, like they're too composed? That's not peace, that's performance. Red flag number 3. Their calm is manufactured, not earned. A dangerous person often hides behind a mask of perfect emotional control. But look deeper. It's not balance, it's suppression. Stillness that's too sharp. Smiles that don't reach the eyes. Anger that never leaks, but you feel it humming beneath the surface, like a bomb with a timer. These people aren't calm, They're coiled, waiting, and silence, to them, is a strategy, not a virtue. They use it to keep you off balance, to make you overthink, over-explain, overexpose, because while you're trying to read them, they're already 20 moves ahead, reading you with surgical focus. Stoic? No, that's not stoicism. It's weaponized restraint. Understand this. Real stoic men feel deeply. They just refuse to be owned by those feelings. But fake calm? It's emotionally empty. They don't regulate emotion, they bury it. And what's buried doesn't die, it mutates. It leaks out in microaggressions, in manipulative silence, in sudden precision-targeted outbursts that leave you confused and second-guessing yourself. This type is dangerous because they're patient. They don't act impulsively. They wait for the right moment to strike, when you're vulnerable, tired, trusting. That's when they move, and when they do, it's clean, quiet, and exact. If someone's peace feels sterile, if their silence feels tactical, if you can never tell what they're really feeling, don't mistake it for maturity. It could be cold, emotional detachment, the kind used by narcissists, high-level manipulators, and predators who want full psychological control without leaving fingerprints. Machiavelli understood this well. He said, "A wise ruler must know how to act the beast." That includes knowing when to appear still and when to strike without warning. These people have mastered the first part, appearing still, but their beast is never far beneath the surface. So test them. Watch how they respond under pressure. Not the kind of pressure that triggers loud emotion, the kind that exposes the truth. Ask direct questions, introduce chaos, interrupt their rhythm. You'll either see emotional maturity or you'll see the mask crack. That crack is everything. Remember, calm isn't always noble. Sometimes it's just the eye of a storm, and when it hits, you don't get time to brace. Comment this if you're learning to see through the calm. Silence doesn't fool me. I sense the storm beneath. Red flag 4. They mirror you too perfectly. You ever talk to someone and feel like you're staring into a mirror? Every word you say, they agree. Every value you express, they echo. Your pain? They've been through the exact same thing. Your ambition? They've felt that fire too. On the surface, it feels like alignment, connection, destiny even. But in reality, it might be something much colder. Calculated mirroring. This is red flag number 4, when they mirror you too perfectly, too quickly, and too consistently. Real connection takes time. It evolves, it comes with tension, disagreement, friction. But when someone reflects your identity like a perfect copy, it's not soul bonding, it's strategic camouflage. Why? Because we trust what feels familiar. Our psychology is wired to seek tribe, likeness, sameness, and manipulators, the truly skilled ones, weaponize that instinct. They become who you want them to be, not because they are that person, but because being that person gets them access. Access to your emotions, your loyalty, your guard down, your resources, sometimes even your destruction. These people don't build relationships, they infiltrate them. It's not empathy, it's mimicry. They study your rhythm, your language, your emotional patterns, your insecurities, and then they reflect it back like a perfectly tuned echo chamber, not because they relate, but because it makes you relax. Because once you feel seen, you open up. And once you open up, they start feeding. Here's how you detect it. Test for divergence. Challenge the illusion. Disagree on purpose. Express something polarizing. Stand firm on a core belief that you don't need validated. If they're real, they'll push back with integrity. If they're fake, they'll glitch. You'll feel the tension in their smile. You'll catch the hesitation, the recalibration, the calculation behind their eyes. And here's the cold truth most people don't want to accept. Someone who becomes everything you need in record time is not your soulmate. They're your shadow, and shadows aren't meant to be trusted. Machiavelli would call this tactic an illusion of virtue, a way of appearing good, aligned, and safe to gain power over someone more emotionally invested. It's seduction, not sincerity. And the worst part? You won't even notice it until you're emotionally entangled or psychologically dependent. They'll say all the right things. They'll claim to love what you love. They'll even adopt your language, your favorite books, your philosophy. But eventually it becomes too much, too synchronized, too curated. That's when your instinct kicks in, not as fear, but as quiet discomfort. That's your subconscious detecting the lie underneath the mask. And if you confront them, they'll either deny, gaslight, or re-mirror you harder. They'll shift shapes again to avoid being exposed. That's because their identity isn't rooted in anything solid. It's built on whoever they think you want them to be. And when they can't maintain the act, they either vanish or they become hostile. So stop mistaking reflection for connection. Watch how they handle friction. Pay attention to the moments they don't agree with you or whether those moments even exist. And remember, real connection doesn't require perfection. It requires truth. Cold truth sometimes, but truth nonetheless. Comment this if you're learning to read through the reflection. I trust authenticity, not imitation. Red flag 5. They're always the victim. Here's a truth they'll never post on their curated feeds or reveal in their polished sob stories. Evil loves the role of the victim. That's red flag number 5. They're always the one who was hurt, betrayed, misunderstood. Never the one who caused damage. Never the one who chose the blade. Only the one who bled. They wrap themselves in weakness like armor. Because, in today's world, weakness is currency. And victimhood is power. The more tragic their past sounds, the more dangerous their future becomes. Because now you've lowered your defenses. Now your instinct is to protect them, not question them. And while you're too busy playing savior, they're already planting emotional landmines under your foundation. Watch how they talk about people from their past. Every relationship, toxic. Every friend, jealous. Every boss, unfair. Somehow they've never been the villain, just an innocent bystander in a world of cruelty. Convenient, isn't it? Ask yourself, how can someone be surrounded by that much evil and never be contaminated themselves? The truth is, they're not unlucky. They're consistent. And you're just the next chapter in a long, carefully edited story. This tactic works because guilt is a powerful leash. They make you feel responsible for healing their wounds they refuse to take ownership of. And once they've locked you into that savior role, you're stuck. The moment you pull away, speak truth, or set boundaries, you become just like the others. You betrayed me too. You don't care about me either. Now you're the villain in their drama. But here's the dangerous part. This isn't emotional immaturity, it's psychological warfare. They use your empathy against you. They manipulate your morality. They build a narrative where every boundary you set is an act of violence. Every no you speak is abandonment. And every moment you prioritize yourself is labeled betrayal. And people fall for it because their pain sounds so real. The tears look convincing. The voice trembles at just the right frequency. But study it closely. Their suffering always benefits them. It wins sympathy. It dodges accountability. It keeps them center stage, without ever exposing the rot underneath. You'll notice something else too. When you open up about your struggles, they'll redirect it. Oh, that happened to you. Let me tell you what happened to me. Your pain becomes a stepping stone to elevate their own. They don't listen. They compete. And somehow they always win, because in their mind, no one has ever suffered quite like they have. This is psychological dominance through emotional manipulation, a subtle, parasitic form of control. Because if you buy the story, you'll compromise your truth to avoid hurting them. You'll suppress your voice, your standards, your power, just to keep the peace. But remember, peace that requires your silence is not peace. It's control. Machiavelli would admire the strategy, but he'd never fall for it. He understood that the one who plays weak can often become the most tyrannical, because their weapon isn't brute force, it's engineered fragility. And once you're entangled, it's hard to pull away without looking like the monster. That's why the only way to deal with this type is to observe without rescuing. Watch their pattern. Let the stories reveal themselves. Ask the hard questions they try to avoid. Do they ever own mistakes? Do they speak of growth or just endless suffering? Have they evolved or just repeated the same story with different names? Understand this. Not everyone who's been hurt becomes humble. Some become professional victims, weaponizing their wounds to avoid accountability and maintain power over people who actually care. So if you're dealing with someone who's always the target, never the archer, always the broken, never the breaker, step back. They might not need healing, they might need exposure. Comment this if you're reclaiming your clarity from emotional fog. I choose truth over guilt, clarity over chaos. Red flag 6. They subtly undermine your power. Here's the final and most lethal red flag. They subtly and systematically undermine your power. Not all at once, never directly. That would be too obvious. No, this is surgical. It's quiet. It's coated in fake support, fake praise, and fake concern. It's a smile that dims your fire, a compliment with a hidden blade, a look of doubt at the exact moment you needed belief. These people don't need to destroy you to control you. They just need to make you doubt yourself. That's the kill shot, because once you start questioning your own instincts, they've already won. It starts with small corrections, passive comments, a joke about how you're always intense, a quick look when you speak with strength, a subtle shift in body language when you walk in with certainty. It's almost invisible, but you feel it, that micro withdrawal of energy, like your presence suddenly became too much. And so you adjust, you shrink, you soften your voice, you censor your instincts to stay likable. That's the trap. Machiavelli wrote, "He who causes another to become powerful ruins himself." But these people twist it. They want your power to serve them, not you. So they'll support you, but only when it doesn't threaten their control. The moment your power becomes independent, they shift. From cheerleader to critic, from admirer to competitor. And they'll mask it as just being honest or trying to keep you grounded, but look deeper. Their feedback isn't designed to build you. It's crafted to destabilize you. These people won't tell you, "You're not good enough." That's too crude. What they'll say is, "Are you sure that's your strength?" Or, "I just don't want you to get your hopes up." Or, "Don't you think you're coming off a little arrogant?" It's always laced with just enough care to sound rational, just enough softness to pass under your defenses. But its function is poison, to erode belief in your own power. They want you second-guessing. They want you constantly looking to them for approval, because as long as you're seeking their permission, they stay in control. And here's the darkness. Some of them don't even know they're doing it. Their ego is so dependent on feeling above you that your growth threatens their self-worth, so they can't celebrate your rise. They can only regulate it. Sometimes it comes from a partner, sometimes a friend, sometimes even a mentor. And that's what makes it dangerous, because it looks like love, it sounds like wisdom, but it feels like friction, because truth resonates. They'll frame their control as protection, but real protection empowers. Real love magnifies your strength. It doesn't chip at it. It doesn't dilute it. And it sure as hell doesn't punish you for stepping fully into it. You'll notice it in how they react when you win. Do they celebrate, or do they go silent? Do they say, "I'm proud of you," or do they change the subject? Do they help you sharpen your edge, or dull it to feel safer around you? And when you speak big visions, do they light up, or do they bring up all the ways it could fail? That's the clearest tell, because those who can't control you will always try to shrink you. If not with force, then with subtlety. If not through criticism, then through carefully curated concern. You must build immunity to this. You must learn to read tone, read intent, read silence. Not emotionally, strategically, stoically. Like a man who's seen behind the curtain, like a mind that cannot be swayed by shallow approval. Machiavelli would remind you, the prince must be feared more than loved if he cannot be both. But let's go deeper. The modern prince must be immune to both fear and love when either becomes a leash. So ask yourself, who around you dilutes your fire while pretending to warm their hands by it? Who makes you question what you know? Not because you're wrong, but because your certainty exposes their insecurity. Start subtracting softly, then surgically. Your power is not up for negotiation. It's not there to make others comfortable. It's not designed to be relatable. It's designed to be felt, to be respected, to be feared by those who tried to diminish it. So the next time someone calls you too much, say this quietly in your mind. Too much? For who? If your answer is someone who's been quietly trying to control, regulate, or contain you, then you know what to do. Comment this if you're reclaiming every inch of power you once gave away. My presence doesn't shrink, it expands. Always. Red flag number 7, the cold lesson. How to become untouchable. If you've made it this far, it means you're starting to see the game for what it is. Not love, not peace, not trust. Power. Controlled, precise, invisible power. The kind they can't seduce, confuse, or break. So here's the cold lesson you came here for. To become untouchable, you must stop seeking to be understood and start mastering the art of being unreadable. Every red flag you've learned wasn't just about spotting evil. It was about disarming your own weakness, your need to be liked, your urge to explain, your habit of giving second chances to people who are actively cutting your foundation down, one compliment at a time. They can't manipulate a man who doesn't crave validation. They can't lie to a man who listens with logic before emotion. And they can't break a man who's already made peace with standing alone. That's where untouchability begins. Not with arrogance, not with cruelty, but with cold self-possession. You stop leaking your plans. You stop apologizing for your standards. You stop offering your energy to people who haven't earned it. Through truth, consistency, and loyalty, you become the observer. Still, focused, sharp. The type of man who watches first, speaks second. The type who lets other people reveal themselves, because they always do. Always. Give them space, give them time, and the mask will always slip. But here's the part no one wants to accept. To walk this path, you have to kill your inner victim. That part of you that seeks softness where only discipline belongs. That part of you that expects fairness in a world built on dominance, deception, and strategy. That part of you that thinks nice is a shield when it's really just bait for predators. You don't become untouchable by putting on fake armor. You do it by burning your illusions to the ground. You study human nature as it is, not as you wish it to be. And once you do, everything changes. You stop trying to be understood, because most people don't even understand themselves. You stop trying to be liked, because what is popularity if it costs you your power? You stop chasing peace with liars, because their chaos is designed to keep you distracted while they feed on your attention. Machiavelli said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved if one must choose." But I'll take it further. Be respected. Be unshakable. Be so internally fortified that even love cannot be used as leverage against you. This is what they fear most. A man who's no longer emotionally predictable. You're calm because you choose to be, not because you're weak. You're silent because you're calculating, not because you're passive. You're kind when it serves, cold when it protects, and indifferent when someone tries to weaponize emotion to gain control. That is power. That is psychological sovereignty. And no, not everyone deserves access to that version of you. Let them earn it, slowly, deliberately, with proof, not words, loyalty, not charm, consistency, not performance. And if they fail the test, you do not explain. You do not defend. You do not warn. You disappear, quietly, with clarity, with finality, like a ghost who outgrew the room. Because here's the law of cold power. You don't fight snakes, you starve them. You remove the energy they crave, attention, emotion, drama, pity. You give them none of it. And in that silence, they suffocate. This is how you become untouchable. So comment this below if you're claiming that state of mind right now. I owe them nothing. I owe myself everything. Red flag number 8. The Machiavellian mindset. Adapt or be eaten. You want to survive? No, more than that. You want to rise? Then bury every ideal that told you life would reward you for being nice, open, predictable, or emotionally available to everyone. This isn't a fairy tale. This is a game. And in this game, the rules were written long before you were born. The world is not run by the kind. It is run by those who understand power and who are willing to use it without flinching. The weak cling to morality like it will protect them. But morality unexamined is a leash. It was handed to you, not chosen by you. And those who handed it to you, they don't play by it. They smile while they break it behind closed doors. They lie with clean hands and manipulate while quoting virtues. And if you try to beat them with honesty alone, you will lose. Again and again until your spirit folds in on itself and you become just another pawn screaming about fairness on a battlefield run by predators. This is not a call to evil. This is a call to clarity, to Machiavellian sight. A way of seeing the world that is not tainted by hope or poisoned by sentiment. A way of operating that does not beg for fairness, but calculates leverage. A way of thinking that does not trust blindly, not because it is afraid, but because it is prepared, ruthlessly. Machiavelli didn't believe in fairness. He believed in outcomes, in action, in the cold advantage of strategic movement. He wrote for those who wished not to survive, but to rule, to ascend, to maintain control in a world designed to destabilize you. And if you don't learn to operate this way, you'll keep wondering why you're always the one betrayed, why people keep lying to you, why you gave your loyalty and got burned, why your truth wasn't enough. The answer? Because you were playing by rules that no one else was following. Adapt or be eaten. There is no middle path. The Machiavellian doesn't speak unnecessarily. He listens. Because every word someone else speaks is intelligence. He doesn't assume intention. He observes behavior. Because people always reveal what they're really after if you give them enough rope. And when betrayal comes, he does not rage. He closes the door silently. Because power doesn't scream. Power disappears and leaves the silence to haunt them. The Machiavellian doesn't reveal his full mind, not to partners, not to friends, not even to himself, until the time is right. Why? Because predictability is weakness. If they can read you, they can control you. And if they can control you, they don't respect you. They feed off you. That's how the game works. This mindset is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally sovereign, meaning your emotions are under your command, not theirs, not the crowd's, not your past. You don't flinch under pressure. You don't defend your boundaries. You don't beg to be understood. You act, and the action speaks for itself. You must become two things: unreadable and undeniable. The unreadable man is untouchable because he offers no leverage. They can't bait him, they can't guilt him, they can't label him because he doesn't need approval. And the undeniable man, he moves with such certainty, such power, such internal clarity that people can't look away. They follow not because he begs, but because he commands quietly. This is the mindset that turns a pawn into a king, not by chance, by design. But here's what stops most men. They're still clinging to the illusion of innocence, still trying to be the good guy in a game that punishes goodness when it's blind. They want power without cost, respect without edge, strength without solitude. But that's not how it works. The moment you step into this mindset, you will lose people. You will be misunderstood. You will be called cold, harsh, arrogant. Good. Let them say it. Those words are spoken by those who thought they could control you, and now they can't. The Machiavellian knows every time you refuse to fold to weakness, you trigger the fragile. Every time you choose silence over emotional performance, you terrify the manipulators. Every time you hold your line without apology, the game changes. And if you do it long enough, the world begins to bend around your presence. But it takes discipline. Cold discipline, not just of action, of thought. You begin to filter every connection through the lens of power. Does this person increase my clarity or distract from it? Do they challenge me with truth or flatter me with illusion? Do they respect silence or need chaos to feel alive? The Machiavellian doesn't attach blindly. He tests, he observes, and only when the evidence is undeniable does he trust. And even then, never completely. That's not fear, that's strategy. Because even allies can change, even lovers can fracture, even friends can envy. The only loyalty you can fully trust is the one you hold to yourself. You want to win in this world? Get ruthless with your inputs. Guard your attention like currency. Cut fast, speak last, move without announcement, and stop explaining your standards to people who are already trying to break them. Because here's the final truth of this mindset. The world does not care who you are, only what you do. Your potential means nothing. Your intentions don't matter, only your execution. And if you don't execute, someone else will. On your goals, your opportunities, your position. Adapt or be eaten. You can't walk this world with open hands and expect not to be devoured. Your power must be cloaked in silence. Your boundaries must be fortified with ice. Your focus must be so precise that manipulation simply slides off you like smoke off steel. This is the Machiavellian mindset. Brutal? Yes, but it will free you. Because once you accept the rules of the game, you stop being a victim of it, and you start bending it in your favor. Comment this if you're no longer begging the world to be soft. I adapt, I calculate, I dominate. Now you know. The masks, the methods, the red flags they'll never admit to. You've been handed the blueprint. Not to fear them, but to outmaneuver them. Not to cry victim, but to command your space with absolute clarity. You've been trained to see, and once your eyes are open, there's no going back. You don't get to unknow this. You don't get to pretend the world is kind and fair. That's not your luxury anymore. You walk into every room now with a sharpened lens. You read silences. You decode smiles. You listen for emotional traps, wrapped in charm. You're not paranoid, you're prepared. This is your edge now. Because here's what they never expected. They thought you'd stay soft, stay sweet, stay easy to manage. They thought they could disarm you with guilt, bend you with fake kindness, wrap you in emotional games and feed off your attention while pretending to protect you. But not anymore. That version of you is gone, burned, buried, replaced by a man who doesn't flinch when people leave, who doesn't chase when loyalty fades, and who never forgets what someone's silence said when your voice needed support. That's the version of you they fear now, because he doesn't need anything, not approval, not permission, not even peace. Because true power isn't loud, it's still. It doesn't beg, it decides. So here's the final warning. If you ignore these red flags, if you let emotional parasites feed on your empathy, if you keep thinking love will fix what requires strategy, you'll suffer. You'll hand your mind over in pieces to people who never deserved access. And when they're done using you, they'll play victim while you're still stitching yourself back together. But if you apply this, you become unfuckwithable. You become the man who doesn't explain, doesn't chase, doesn't bleed for those who bite. You become the ghost in the room they can't read, the shadow behind the throne, the storm that doesn't warn before it arrives. And if you're ready for that level of psychological warfare, if you're ready to never be the prey again, then I want you to comment one final thing below. May they break what they can't touch. Now go back, watch this again, let every red flag sink deep, etch them into your pattern recognition, because the next time someone smiles too wide, listens too perfectly, or plays the victim too long, you won't question it, you'll know. You'll walk away with silence, with power, with precision. This is psygrythm. We train the mind to be lethal, we train the soul to be unfazed, and we sharpen the edge where logic cuts through illusion. If this hit you with truth, like the video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because from this point forward, every lesson is war. And you're not here to be liked. You're here to be untouchable